Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, you've brought us a story about a creature that is so mysterious that most people who live right beside it will never, ever see one in their entire lives.
We are pulling back the curtain on the smallest cat species in the world, the rusty spotted cat. And it's an animal that just, immediately gets these amazing nicknames.
Yeah, I saw a few things like the hummingbird of cats or even the fairies of the feline world.
Exactly. But there's another much more compelling title it's been given.
The Little Prince of Darkness. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To unpack that paradox.
Right.
How can the lightest, tiniest cat on the planet also be this lethal, incredibly adaptable predator with a range that covers a huge chunk of South Asia?
And that's what's so fascinating. We're talking about a massive geographical footprint, from the forests of Sri Lanka all the way up through India and into Nepal.
But we barely know anything about them.
We think there are maybe 10,000 of them out there, but because they're so small, so incredibly stealthy, almost everything we know comes from these really hard-won glimpses. Their daily lives are mostly a mystery.
Okay, so let's get into the size. When we hear smallest cat, a lot of us just picture a kitten, but we need some real context here. How small is it, say, compared to a normal house cat?
It's a pretty startling difference. The rusty spotted cat is officially the lightest cat in the world. A full-grown male is usually just about 1.5 kilograms.
Wow, that's what, just over 3 pounds?
Just over 3 pounds. Now think about a big domestic tomcat. He could easily be 4, maybe even 5 times heavier than that.
That really puts it in perspective. And I read that at birth, the kittens, they weigh less than a chicken egg.
Less than a chicken egg. It almost feels impossible, doesn't it? That something so fragile can grow up to be such a successful survivor.
It really does. But you mentioned nuance. So on this deep dive, we have to ask, is smallest just about weight?
Well, that's where the debate is. It definitely wins en masse. But the title itself is a bit disputed when you look at stature.
So there are other contenders for the throne.
There are 2 main ones. You've got the guinea, which is also called the cod from South America, and then there's the black-footed cat from Southern Africa.
And how do they measure up?
Well, the research suggests that while the rusty spotted is the lightest, the black-footed cat is often considered the shortest. It sort of wins on height.
So it really comes down to how you define it. Is it weight or is it height? But for the rusty spotted cat, being the lightest seems to be its secret weapon.
Absolutely. That lack of mass is directly connected to how rarely it's seen. It lets them just vanish. They're basically built for invisibility across that huge range south of the Himalayas.
And this is where the story gets really good. We have this image of a delicate, tiny creature, but we have to pivot to its other side, the lethal hunter.
The Little Prince of Darkness.
Exactly. It might look like a toy, but for a frog or a lizard in its path, it's a perfect, silent, killing machine.
Incredibly efficient. Their diet is pretty varied, focusing on whatever is available: frogs, lizards, small rodents. But the key is their versatility.
They're not just hunting on the ground, right?
Not at all. The first naturalists who studied them were blown away by their climbing skills. They documented them hunting squirrels and raiding birds' nests high up in the trees. They're just as comfortable in the canopy.
So they're hunting in 3 dimensions. What's the strategy? I mean, how does a 3-pound cat take down prey that might be pretty substantial for its size?
It's this incredible combination of pure speed and just absolute patience. In open grasslands, for example, they can't just run down a gerbil.
So they have to be clever.
Right. They use the terrain. They'll use a simple ditch or a fold in the ground for complete cover. They just wait, and then at the last possible second, they pounce.
That speed and stealth are one thing, but what really jumped out at me was their confidence. It seems almost illogical for something so tiny.
This is maybe the most shocking thing about their behavior. We have these almost unbelievable anecdotes, some of them from a long time ago, about them going after animals way outside their weight class.
You mean like a big rabbit or something?
Bigger. We have reports of them pouncing on baby deer.
Wait, a baby deer? That's got to be 10 times its own weight. That sounds less like confidence and more like, I don't know, a suicide mission.
It's not their main food source, of course, but the fact that they'll even try, it says so much about their mindset. The reports say they had to be physically pulled off the prey. They just wouldn't let go.
So it's like a lion's mentality trapped in this tiny body.
It's exactly that. That self-assured intensity is a huge part of why they've survived so well.
Which is a perfect transition. This isn't some fragile species that needs everything to be just right. This tiny hunter thrives across so many different environments.
Its adaptability is everything. It's not stuck in one type of forest. We see them in deciduous forests, on hill slopes, in dense shrublands, even rocky areas.
That flexibility must be what allowed them to spread so far.
For sure, especially shrublands. That dense cover is a massive advantage for a small predator. It lets them use their size to just disappear in an instant.
And where do they fit in the bigger family tree of cats in that region? They're sharing space with some much larger cousins.
They are. They share their range and their genus with fishing cats and leopard cats. All three came from a common ancestor about 8 million years ago.
Okay.
But here's the key part of the timeline. The rusty-spotted cat was the first to break away from that group. It diverged and started on its own path about 6 million years ago.
And what does that mean, that early split? Did it give them a head start?
Precisely. It let them claim a niche that their larger cousins couldn't. It's classic niche partitioning.
Oh, okay.
While the fishing cat was specializing in water and the leopard cat was going for slightly larger prey, the rusty-spotted cat had already perfected the art of hunting tiny things on the ground and in the trees. It established itself as the resilient little specialist.
And that resilience is carrying them right into the modern world. They're now being seen around farmland.
Which is the ultimate test, right? Farmland is full of opportunities. There's a constant supply of rodents near grain stores. And for a mother with kittens, it's a pretty good dining spot with plenty of cover on the edges of fields.
But getting close to humans always comes with conflict. Are they a major threat to farmers' livestock?
The conflict is there, but it's often a case of mistaken identity. The rusty-spotted cat will occasionally take a chicken, but it's much, much less common than with its cousin, the leopard cat.
So the leopard cat is the real chicken killer.
It's bigger, bolder, and much more likely to be the culprit. But the problem is, a farmer in the middle of the night doesn't stop to check the spot patterns.
Right. A cat is a cat.
It is.
Yeah.
Many farmers just have a blanket no wildcat policy. So even though the rusty-spotted cat isn't the main offender, it still faces the risk of being shot on sight just for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So when we put all these pieces together, what do we have? The rusty-spotted cat is this amazing study in contrasts. It's a creature as light as a feather, with the heart and confidence of a lion, and it's navigating everything from ancient forests to these dangerous modern farms.
I think the biggest takeaway is the story of its resilience. It's proof that survival isn't always about brute force. It's about adaptability, specialization, and, just sheer unbelievable confidence.
That little body has been carrying it through for 6 million years.
And it continues to do so, even as the world changes around it.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on this elusive Prince of Darkness, here's a final thought for you to consider. We still know so little about this tiny, widespread species. Given all the challenges we face in studying large, visible predators, what surprising advantages might their tiny size give them and us in a rapidly changing world? What can they access that a tiger or a leopard simply can't?